Coast Conference visiting the Arizona Wildcats as WCC meets Big 12 right here on ESPN Plus at a junior college somewhere. Why not open the gates, let people pay, and come celebrate it?
Unbelievable atmosphere here at Arizona. Almost a full house for a scrimmage. Lets you know about the weight that basketball carries in Tucson.
Burries ends up with the basketball in his hands. Braden Burries out of San Bernardino, California. You see the returnee, Jaden Bradley. One-time Alabama transfer. And there's big Mo Krivas. Heading downhill, the Australian. Anthony Del Orso has it taken away. Transfer from Campbell. First year was last year. St. Mary's. Last 4 NCAA tournaments they have been to, they have been winners in the first round in 3 of the last 4. This is a dangerous mid-major program, Corey.
They are so good at what they do, and
Braden Burries.
The credit to Coach Bennett and the program that he's built. It's not plug and play. I don't want to undersell it, but literally they play very high IQ basketball, and you really have to be locked in defensively when you play against them.
It's interesting, Corey. There's a little bit of the traditional, to go back a generation. They utilize the red shirt quite a bit. They like for some of their early athletes to watch for a year, and I think that's where the plug and play comes in.
Well, you have to watch and you have to develop physically, because what they run and the way that they play, it's not really a program set up for underclassmen. You got to be responsible for the ball when you play for Randy Bennett.
By the way, individual fouls. We are playing 6 fouls today to let these athletes play for a little longer. We'll keep an eye on that. That's the fun thing about Tommy Lloyd, and on the other side, Randy Bennett. You can control the narrative a bit. It's not a glorified practice, though. It's a little more energy than that. And you don't think for these freshmen it doesn't feel real as they hang a foul that time on Liam Campbell.
St. Mary's number 33, Liam Campbell, is first person. First team foul.
Tommy Lloyd in his 5th year. He has won 77% of the time. His starting 5. Again, you see the returnee, Jaden Bradley, but then you see some youngsters. Braden Burries, Koa Pete in there. Mo Krivas is back and healthy. I'm excited to see Koa Pete play a bit.
Yeah, Koa Pete, a sensational talent, a lot of athleticism.
Whistle being blown quite a bit early on. We've got a great crew, though. Tony Padilla, Kip Kissinger, Doug Sermons. These are Final 4 caliber officials for this one. This is a tune-up for them as well.
Well, it's great for players, because the earlier that players can get a sense of what that in-season whistle is going to be like, the better it is for the coaches. These guys have been practicing against each other for the last few weeks, so now to find out what's a foul, what's not a foul, how to play, how to defend with a great referee and crew like this is a huge advantage.
JB went to the line. Jaden Bradley 127 times last year. Shot 83%, so unafraid he utilizes the drive game, albeit for a guard that stands just 6'3". Alabama transfer, Rochester, New York native. All right, let's start with coaches. What's the benefit of a scrimmage like this with the doors open?
Well, for the coaches, you get your guys in a live game environment, and you get to come away with some really good tape and footage to break down as you get a couple of weeks away from the start of the season. A lot of times you can show guys better than you can tell them, so both coaches will be dissecting this footage for weeks to come.
Andrew McKeever had good positioning underneath, so Mo Krivas draws the foul. Well, what a career this man has had in his 25th season. He has been incredible. We talk about Tommy Lloyd. This man's won 72% of his games, 562 in his career.
Oh, you look up the word automatic and you'll see his picture next to it. It's just wash, rinse, and repeat at St. Mary's. He's loaded with talent. His guys are disciplined. They play at a high level.
And of course, Tommy Lloyd, 5th year, 112 wins, just 33 losses. A couple of years ago, the National Coach of the Year. For a program that has gone to the tournament 39 times, won 62 games in March Madness. This building looks beautiful, doesn't it? The new floor.
Yeah, it's very understated, the job that Tommy Lloyd's been able to do. You talk about the success of the Arizona program with Lute Olson, then with Sean Miller, and then him stepping in and having a tremendous amount of success early. this Arizona job, this Arizona program, it's not the easiest one in the country. And Tommy Lloyd's done a masterful job in just a few short years here.
Yeah, he fit in from the word go, from the word jump. You know, a full generation of working with Mark Few and developing athletes, recruiting internationally with Gonzaga, building their program. He was ready. I mean, if ever a coach was ready for a job, as we see, the newly introduced Koa Pete, he's out of Chandler, Arizona. He drops that one home. Went to Gilbert Perry High School. State champion all 4 years, and they kept him in state, Corey.
Big get for Arizona. There you see the defensive pressure by Pete. Arizona in transition.
The name Koa, mom is of Hawaiian descent. Strong warrior. He's going to be tested right away. He's going to be in every scout and every scouting report. That strong warrior is going to be called upon a lot. Koa Pete committing to Arizona back in March, the 27th day, 2025. Beautiful job by Mikey Lewis. That's the sophomore out of Oakland, puts one home. Lewis had some big games last year, had 23 against Nebraska, had 18 against Gonzaga. Burries with a little runner just inside the free throw line, comes up short.
Lewis, one of those guys, much like Jaden Bradley, an experienced guard that can pick his spots, flip that switch, and decide when he wants to score.
Wait a minute, why are you not knocking off any rust? You right away are just diving in. I kind of got some name pronunciations going. I do know I can say Koa Pete.
Right here, the one dribble pull-up, when he's knocking that down, you got a long night ahead of you. But here's what coaches love to see, the effort at the defensive end. Contest without fouling and get Arizona out in transition. You know, Koa Pete's such an athlete in the open court, the dunks, the lobs, but when his half mid-court game is flowing like that, you've really got your hands full, because then he can do it all.
We welcome back Paulius Morauskas at the line, the Lithuanian native. He had one really big game when he wore a Wildcats uniform, and he did it against the right team. He dropped 12 on ASU in a win. And if you're going to have one big game to look back upon for the Cats, that's the one.
Yeah, that game will get you free food and drink in Tucson for the rest of your life. Big rivalry.
He really, last year, got comfortable in this uniform. He dropped 29 on Utah on the road with the win. That's a tough, tough thing to do. Morauskas, by the way, went to the line more than 100 times last year, shooting 74%. Isn't it great to have college basketball back, folks? Beautiful work in the paint. The Australian Anthony Delorso.
Normally known for the three-point shot, takes his man one-on-one with a nice up and under. Looked like he's added some weight and obviously had a little post game.
Nice little runner, little pivot move inside. That's Joshua Dennis, sophomore. There are a multitude of Australians on this roster. He's one of them.
I think the Australian embassy's relocated to Moraga with the history of players from down under.
Have this headset back on.
Feels great, man. Feels great to be working right alongside you.
It does. Feels fun to be watching basketball and again seeing these young athletes go to work. Again, we talk about this St. Mary's team. It was back in 2010. They went to the Sweet 16, had a couple of big wins along the way. They will always remember that, deservedly so. Bradley with a no-look pass. Nearly slipped through the fingertips of Koa Pete. Shot clock disappears. Doesn't matter. Jalen Bradley drops that one home.
Good vision and acceptance by Koa Pete. He went for the one-on-one. Nothing was there, and he found Bradley in the corner.
Big Andrew McKeever, he tries to use his size, had a mismatch there over Koa Pete. But McKeever, who averaged about 2 with 2 rebounds last year, comes up empty.
And McKeever's got to cash that in. When you got that size advantage, make something happen. Lewis with a nifty dime.
Well, I'll say, beautiful vision, too, once he set his feet.
Well, that's the thing about the Randy Bennett coach team. The open guy is the shooter. That's the way they play. They are not going to hold on to the ball. They're going to let the ball do the work.
Ivan Karchenkov, you can see that kind of linebacker-built body wearing number 8 in the white Arizona jersey. One of the key freshmen out of Germany. He's seeing some time. Karchenkov who signed with Arizona back in July of 2025, earlier this year. So as we see players transfer in, I already asked you about the key for the coaches. What's the big deal for the athletes playing in this exhibition?
Well, in this kind of game, you want to get a feel for the officiating. You're kind of worn out because you've been playing against your teammates for a couple of weeks, so it's nice to guard a guy and have some unknown things going on. You don't know the sets they're running. You don't know their tendencies, so you really got to lock in and concentrate. But if you're for Arizona, with the roster not, or the rotation not being set, you want to put your best foot forward and show the coaches, hey, when we get started with Florida, you can count on me. You know, guys want to make their claim and show what they can do.
Boy, speaking of that mention of Florida, when you look at the schedule this year, as we kind of are trying to find the bottom of the bucket, you see a program that takes on the last 5 national champions when the season's all said and done. That's incredible, including Florida.
By the time Arizona gets into conference play, they will have played some of the best teams in the country. And it's kind of one of those situations where, okay, guys, we're not going to play anybody tougher than what we've seen. So they'll be able to dial in.
Mikey Lewis was a 4-star recruit, played his travel ball for the Oakland Soldiers of the EYBL. Mikey last year, about 8 points a game. Shot close to 40% from 3. He was the WCC 6th man of the year as the defense steps up for St. Mary's. Lewis, nice little player, huh, Corey?
You know, he's not going to shy away from this atmosphere. McHale Center, I mean, you talk about going into the kennel up with the Zags. That's a crazy environment. So looking to put on a show here in McHale Center.
Nice job defensively. Mo Krivas in the middle of it all. He put up a wall. Braden Burries with the basketball in his hand, the freshman out of San Bernardino, California. The veteran Bradley goes to his left. Mo's right behind to put it home. It's Krivas. They only had him for 8 games last year. It was 8 points and 5 rebounds. Climbing over Mo's back that time. Harry Wessels, the Australian, with the whistle.
Benefits of Jaden Bradley getting downhill. Even when he misses, you have the 7-footer trailing for the putback. Teams are going to struggle this year keeping Jaden Bradley out of the lane. Krivas will most likely have a lot of those opportunities at 7 feet tall.
Got my eyes up court just a bit as Evan Nelson comes on, the Harvard transfer, Harvard graduate and a Tucson native. He'll bring the basketball up court. A true point guard, too, that can really help relieve. Has played a ton of games at the Division I level. And a whistle on the other side against St. Mary's. 8-6 the number out of the gates if you're counting numbers. That was how it started. It's now 13-11. Burries, those shoulders will be heavy. They'll be looking to him a lot. Aristode, another one, a true freshman joining this team. As we introduce you to the talented player out of the Netherlands, you mentioned him to me when we talked earlier this week. You said, hey, number 2, keep an eye on Dwayne.
Dwayne's skill set, his athleticism, I mean, it's just one of those deals where, you know, at some point he's going to have a couple of moments this season where he's going to take over games for Arizona. Super talented, obviously learning curve, but man, the raw skills are right there.
There's the stop and pop from Burries. Braden, again, a freshman out of San Bernardino, California. Played his travel ball, strive for greatness, had a bunch of big games throughout high school.
They're making freshmen a whole lot different than they used to. So polished as a freshman. There you see the stop and the pop.
And one of 2 McDonald's All-American on this roster. The Ivy Leaguer gets it in the hands of the German, but it's turned over. Lewis all the way, turns his back to the bucket. And Mo Krivas slaps that one into the first row. They'll call that bucket, and they'll put it on the board. You can feel it. They're starting to knock the rust off, gain some confidence, have some fun. Look to their teammates. And a man who's got high expectations already delivering for the Cats. The Harvard transfer seeing some key playing time early, and they're giving the basketball to that freshman quite a bit. Burries with another.
Just outstanding creativity, can knock down the pull-up jumper off the dribble. Doesn't have to force anything. Looks really smooth out there.
One of his quotes on his Instagram, Burris, about challenges says, and I quote, "It can't storm forever." That's optimism. That's looking at life with, even through the challenges, you know the storms will go away. And he's going to have his hands full for sure. They're going to be looking for him. Offensive foul, clearing space. Let's take one more look at Braden.
Talk about body control, stopping on a dime, penetration, gathers himself up and over, textbook pull-up jumper. And that's one of those situations where that's just a player taking up on himself to make something happen.
Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of California. Eleanor Roosevelt High School. He averaged 30. He averaged 9 rebounds and 3 steals. Again, a McDonald's All-American, one of 2 coming in this year. And he steps up to the line. His mom is Hannah. Dad is Bobby. Dad, by the way, Hall of Fame basketball career, Cal State San Bernardino. Mom, softball and basketball in college, so a really fun athletic family. Braden's favorite player of all time at the highest level, Derrick Rose, if you're curious. They take advantage with the big man that time on a mismatch. Morauskas.
Talked about his size. He has the game of a small forward, but the body of a power forward. So looking for him on those high lows, something Arizona will have to keep an eye out, because he can post up the smaller guards.
Ivan Karchenkov out of Munich, Germany, played for FC Bayern Munich since he was 12 years old with the miss off the glass a moment ago. U18 German national team as well, as there's a whistle down below. Here's Paulus earlier.
And you can tell by the way he positions himself. He's used to playing in the post, waits on the ball, waits on the defender, uses the rim for protection. That's a big man move right there from a guy who also has an outside shot.
And you have these moments, too, where maybe you doubt yourself. Tommy Lloyd talking with such respect earlier this week about Paulus, saying he was nothing but classy when he wore our uniform. And he made it clear, I know he's going to be looking to do big things against us. I would, too, if I were him.
Yeah, when you play at Arizona and can't find your way out onto the court, it motivates you a little bit. Maybe it gives you a chip on the shoulder. Obviously a solid player, newcomer of the year in the WCC. So why not come home and show the folks what they're missing?
Yeah, Lloyd with a lot of pride speaking about his visit and his return, saying, look, it makes me proud, understanding that he once was with us and he's found the place that's best for him.
Yeah, when you recruit a kid, you're basically letting it be known that you believe in him, and that doesn't change once the kid goes on somewhere else.
And Morauskas, you talk about kind of that galvanizing moment. I'm at the right place at St. Mary's. It was last year. He had a third week of January, an incredible week. He was the national player of the week. No player had more damage and more impact at the D1 level than Paulus. That's when you know you're in the right place. A little step back, off the mark. Paulus again. Out front, getting busy, and a chance to go to the line. Real physical play underneath. That's Koa Pete out front.
There you see the contested shot, and this is what makes Arizona dangerous. Whoever boards it can bring it. One dribble, one pass, and that ball's at the rim in a matter of seconds.
Jana and Todd, his parents. He was the other McDonald's All-American that's come to campus. Compton Magic, he wore that uniform, a famed program, a really amazing travel program. And of course, he's one of 7 at home, and they're all athletes. Todd played football at 3 schools. Andrus all the way to the NFL, most recently in Las Vegas. Cassius, football, Virginia, Michigan State. Sister, Leilani, basketball, playing it very well. Maya, Texas Tech. And of course, brother Keona, Arizona, football. What an athletic family. How do you feed that family?
The grocery bill must
Are you kidding me?
You got to take out a home equity loan just to buy groceries, and just the amount of bragging rights that must go down at Thanksgiving and the holidays when they're all together.
And by the way, he's the baby. They're all older. I'm sure they all have words of wisdom. But I bet they're darn proud of the baby brother, too.
No question about it.
He made his commitment to the Wildcats back March 27th this year. In the world of NIL and opportunity for these athletes, you don't see the 2, 3, 4 year before commitment as much as you used to with top guys. You just don't.
No, because they've got a lot of leverage and a lot of options.
Cade Bennett sees some time on the wood, number 22, as he turns the corner there. 23 games, scored 10 points last year, but it's turned over.
Great defense by Krivas. They had the high-low. Krivas got a hand on it and took that opportunity away.
Koa really busy feet, went to the basket.
And that's where he can do a lot of damage on that block. He's so big and strong. Had the defender sealed. Nice drop step.
Yeah, Corey, I don't want to go on and on too much about it, as that little step back is dropped home, and a pretty shot by Tony Duckett out of San Diego, California. It's one thing to be big and strong, but he was immediately at that bucket a moment ago.
No hesitation, being aggressive, playing in rhythm.
Del Orso short. Anthony last year shot 41% from distance. Had some big games, lit up Oregon for 12 points in 18 minutes in the second round of the NCAA tournament on the way to the Sweet 16, Del Orso did. They'll get Jaden with the whistle that time.
A little bit of a bailout call right there. He had nowhere to go, but he leaned in to Bradley, got the contact, and despite the Arizona play, it's a 2-point game. You go toe-to-toe with Arizona and McHale Center for the opening 12 minutes, and right now it's still a 2-point affair because St. Mary's doesn't get rattled. They've played games like this before. They've played in arenas like this before. They're just like Novocaine. Give it time. It always works.
We've done a lot of games together. You haven't dropped that one on me yet. I like it.
Where they play, like I said, high IQ basketball. They don't force a lot of shots, but more importantly, they don't turn it over. And without the turnovers, you really don't get a chance to get in transition.
Tony D with the miss there. Duckett last year went to the line 55 times and really was effective. Shot 87%. They want more of that from him this year. A rare miss from the free throw line. Fighting for the basketball brace with the miss.
All right, St. Mary's with 2 7-footers on the floor right now. We'll see if they can take advantage of the size, or can Arizona take advantage of the quickness.
It's McKeever, it's Wessels. One from Livermore, California, one from Boddington, West Australia. The Australian, little turn to the right, came up short. Wessels last year, 5 points a game. And when he was in there, he shot close to 60%. Shot clock at 10. Burris runs into a wall. Shot clock at 5. Anthony trying to make something out of nothing, and look what he just did.
Big time shot. He's going to be counted on to do that a lot. He's gotten the label of a 3-point shooter, but right there, end of possession makes it happen for Arizona.
I think you made a great point about him as the Cats have a defensive stand, talking about Del Orso. You pointed out his frame. There's a little more bulk on that frame. That may help him.
Well, you don't want to be a one-dimensional player, especially when you get into Big 12 league play. You want to be able to take guys off the dribble. More importantly, you player with a lot of maturity beyond his own years. You see the stop and pop, the body control, the finish, the stroke. Like I said, he doesn't look much like a freshman when he's out there, and I think they're going to have a lot of moments this season where he'll have big plays.
I watched him a long time, those Eleanor Roosevelt basketball fans. In his final 2 years of high school, last 2 years, nearly 2,000 points. That's when they're looking to stop you every game. All the targets were on his back. As Jay Bradley goes to the line, Jaden comes up short, as we mentioned earlier, close to 85% from the line last year. Years ago at Alabama, SEC all-freshman team. Last year in the postseason, he was 8 of 15 from distance. Came up big as his team played their way to the Sweet 16. What do you expect out of Jaden this year, the veteran?
Well, most nights out, and I won't tell him this, but most nights out, he's going to be one of the best players on the floor. So his job is to control the game, to make sure that the ball goes to the right places. And then when it's his time, he has the ability to get downhill.
Speaking of downhill, Del Orso takes it home.
Having an impact and hasn't hit a three yet. That's what Tommy Lloyd and his staff have to be excited about. You're getting productivity from a guy who was, quote unquote, your shooter all over the court. Great defensive effort.
Kind of looks like a woodsman out there with that beard. Yeah, put a flannel shirt on him, let him chop down some trees.
This is defensive anticipation. Great play, the good finish. And he wasn't doing plays like this last year. Creating havoc, that's an easy two for Del Orso, and it just goes to show you a defensive mind state. Now he's looking for those opportunities.
You got to remember, too, when you talk about Anthony, he scored in 2 years at Campbell nearly 1,100 points. That's Division I program. That doesn't happen by accident, as the two veterans can't convert that time.
But last year in the Big 12, he was literally hunted as a defender. Teams looked to ISO against him, and they had some success. And I know that weighed on his mind and got him into the weight room this summer.
This is the other one. This man right here, number 13, going to be leaned on. He could have a coming out party this year.
Well, anytime you've got the point on offense, and right now that high-low, Randy Bennett and his team may start to react to it, and then you may see the Arizona outside shot come after that.
Randy Bennett, the incredibly successful coach, 11 times has taken St. Mary's to the NCAA tournament. As Corey talked about earlier, it's an expectation. That's where else Krivas helps you, on the defensive side of the basketball. Bradley wheeling and dealing down the lane for a pair.
Like I said, you see the experience with Jaden Bradley. He can get any shot he wants at any time. And right there, just in transition, taking it over.
Jaden's got 8 points. He's got a couple of assists as well. 8 points for Morauskas as he comes back home. Tried to make it 10 off the mark that time. Well, look at the numbers for the Cats, really firing up the court all the way through traffic. It's the freshman break.
If you're St. Mary's, there's not a whole lot you can do. You took the timeout, but it's the empty possessions for the Gales that are hurting them. They've had 5 or 6 empty possessions, and that's allowed Arizona to push this out to a 12-point lead.
Cats 5 of their last 5 from the hardwood. St. Mary's, nothing for their last 5. It's an 11-0 run for Arizona right now. Just trying to will his way to a bucket. Great effort there by Liam Campbell. Here's Braden coming home.
Right here, just makes the decision to tuck it and gets all the way to the rim. And sometimes when you have that bigger lineup and you've got the 7-footers, they're lagging behind defensively. Burries knew that, got all the way to the rim, got the easy layup.
He had a big red-blue game. Again, it's a scrimmage, but they're playing once they're scrimmaging out there. At 22 points in 20 minutes as Campbell sinks the first one.
Yeah, showed a lot of composure. Down the stretch, made a couple of plays against his teammate Bradley. It was a back and forth, and it was nice to see the freshman step in and deliver the win for his team.
One of 6 redshirts. We talked about utilizing Coach Bennett, the redshirt. One of them is Liam Campbell. He was an amazing player coming out of Idaho. Owyhee High School number 2 prep player in the class. Well, he watched last year. Now they're expecting more from number 33, who, as a player, as he sits down, won 17 in a row to end his high school career.
Yeah, you take that raw talent and then you add in 8 months of practice, 8 months of weightlifting, 8 months of coaching, and now you've still got your eligibility. That's a huge advantage.
Koa-Pete's working, number 10 back on the wood. Also, Karchenkov out there as well. Want to put him under the spotlight for you viewers. He'll have it in his hands as he does now. He'll step back. Look, I wanted to put him under the spotlight. He didn't have to score. I'm excited to get to know him.
We heard you talking. Another player that's just an added weapon for this Arizona team. Solid, big kid, good hands, perimeter player with a nice outside shot.
By the way, he put on his Instagram, Karchenkov, his first Arizona haircut. Shout out to Mike Ramirez at Royalty Barber Shop. That's a good-looking fade you put on him. That's a nice fade along the baseline by Mikey Lewis. See what I did there?
I saw what you did there. Very clever, but I'm not too surprised. Oh. When you see them in your bracket, do not bet against the Gales.
It's interesting, too. Let me put California, the entire state, on notice. because heading into this season, the Gales hold the highest winning percentage and are tied for the most NCAA tournament wins of any, or I should say appearances, of any D1 program in the state since 15-16. Hello UCLA, hello Stanford, hello Fullerton, just name one after another. It's St. Mary's that's up near the top.
Well, you're starting something right there.
Sorry.
They're going to be in your inbox after the game.
Sorry about that.
Hey, it is what it is. Those are facts, though. All facts.
Make sure you find Corey. We'll share his cell with you in just a minute.
Hey, numbers don't lie. Right now for the Gales, they've kind of lost control of this game over the last 5 or 6 minutes. Empty possessions, Arizona getting some transition. There's a near turnover, actually turnover by the Cats. Very few turnovers for Arizona here in the first half.
Just 4 and 5 overall for St. Mary's. And some of the differences, points in the paint, not surprised. Maybe, though, we talked earlier about a couple of 7-footers out there. So points in the paint when you're at 22-12, that's a positive statement about Mo Krivas.
Yeah, it is. And St. Mary's have had some point-blank layups that they've missed. Their bigs got to be a little more productive. There's the roll. See if they can get something from it there. They finally get an easy 2. That's been the easiest 2 of the night.
That's Andrew McKeever out of Granada High School, Livermore, California. That's a point in the paint. McKeever had a big game against Boise State last year. 9 points, 8 rebounds as he started to earn more and more playing time. And McKeever's another one of those red shirts. Del Orso off to the left, lined up for 3.
Beautiful penetration and kick, just couldn't knock it down. And at the other end, transition.
Dent just ran into a wall. He had tried to create some space, Joshua. Dent just couldn't do so. Speaking of creating space, a little bit aggression coming down. This is Dwayne Aristo. This is one of the freshmen we've talked about a bit, but he had 12 points in 16 minutes as Tommy Lloyd with the conversation on the sidelines with Koa Pete. Here's Dwayne. He played for the senior national team, the Netherlands, in 2024 as a 17-year-old. Bunch of grown men around you, though he looks like a grown man.
Yeah, like I said, I got to see some birth certificates on some of these guys. He and Koa Pete look every bit in their early 20s, but he's so skilled in terms of his athleticism. You can jump out of the gym. He can finish at the rim. Needs to work on the outside shot along with Koa Pete. Both of them need to become better perimeter shooters, but you can see the tremendous upside with all these athletes that Arizona puts on the floor.
It was last October, October 13th, when Aristo committed of 2024 to the Wildcats. Arizona whistle. Second personal foul on Kurchenkov, 8th team foul.
You know, Darren, even though this is a scrimmage, you still want to have a game-like mentality. If you're the Gales, you want to put together a couple of good possessions over the last 2 minutes, get this back to maybe a single-digit game. And for Arizona, can you keep your foot on the gas? Can you make a couple of plays down the stretch to maybe blow this open?
Let me take that a step further, if you don't mind. Tommy Lloyd talked a lot leading into this game about the game day experience, the morning, the lead-in, the shoot-around. That's important, too, for an exhibition, right? The whole day?
It's extremely important, especially to the freshmen who've never done this before. They take their cues from the upperclassmen, so learning the routine, learning how to prepare, all of that is important for a day like today. Gives you a dry run as the Gales force a turnover, have a chance to add on another basket.
At 33-26 is the number. The turnovers are dead even now at 5 apiece. Beautiful feed to McKeever, and he'll look to turn it into a 3-point opportunity.
My earlier statement about Novocaine, they hang around. Great play, ball, screen, they dive, they hit the big man on the run and have a chance for 3 the hard way.
So how about this word? Because it doesn't apply. I like Novocaine. On the other side, they never seem to panic. They seem very comfortable, no matter in this setting, too. There's no panic out there.
When you go to the kennel once a year, the word panic disappears from your vocabulary. And I have to say, that is one of the best arenas and atmospheres in all of college basketball. And the Gales have gone in there every year, and they never fold, they never crease, they never blink. So getting a little 10-0 run put on you here at McKale Center, that's not going to faze these guys.
St. Mary's took him out in Spokane last year, certainly. Talking about Gonzaga. No whistle there. They're letting them play just a bit. The big fellas like that. Shot clock at 5. Koa wheels and deals. Step back. Tries to fire it home. And there's a McKale bounce with the bucket.
End of possession. Who has the ball? Can they make something happen? Normally Superman for them is Jaden Bradley, but he's out of the game right now. So Koa Pete takes it upon himself to close out the possession. A well-needed bucket.
8 have played. 8 have come in and played for Arizona here in this first half. I think that's very telling. There is McKeever again. You said it, trying to get comfortable. That's 6 points. He's got 7 boards, too.
That's what Tommy Lloyd was talking about. How do we play when it's only 5 guys out there at a time? The red and blue scrimmage, that's not a real game. How do we play as a collective unit when there's one ball?
St. Mary's doing a road game as well on a challenge.
20 seconds on the clock. The Gales may try some type of gimmick, but they want to see if they can get a stop. They're going to let Arizona play it out.
Yeah, they'd love nothing more than a stop and a bucket. Cats emptying the clock. Anthony Del Orso, silky sweep.
It's a little early. Gales have a chance.
Lewis up with it. Just off the mark to the right. Del Orso with 8 points. Murray's had 8 as well.